Hey Deckers, it's the start of 2024, which means we've got the top 20 most played games on Steam Deck for 2023, taken from the most played list each month, ranked through the year, and with full footage on Steam Deck. So let's dive in, kicking off with number 20, Monster Hunter Rise, verified on the Steam Deck. Embark on epic hunts with a game where players battle against a variety of formidable monsters. Each monster comes with distinct behaviours and deadly ferocity, demanding strategic thinking and skill mastery. Appeared in our top 26 times throughout this year and performs at a perfect 60 frames per second on both the LCD and OLED Steam Deck. You're going to be having a fantastic time playing this one on the Steam Deck in preparation for Monster Hunter World. At number 19, Diablo IV plunges players into a dark, chaotic world. As the eternal conflict between the high heavens and the burning hells escalates, players must navigate an open world filled with demonic horrors. Appearing in our top 20 just 3 times through the year, but it did also appear in our top 5, performing again fantastically well on the Steam Deck, although you're not going to manage 60 frames per second on either the LCD or OLED, but you will manage a steady 40 to 50 frames per second on medium or high settings. Number 18 brings the highly addictive Persona 5 Royale with verified status. Players experience life as a high schooler in Tokyo, juggling mundane daily life and the extraordinary world of the Phantom Thieves. This game blends stylish turn-based combat with immersive storytelling. Appearing 7 times in our top 20 with 2 times in the top 10. This one will run at a solid 60 frames per second on the LCD with its high settings and up to 90 frames per second on the OLED, both giving fantastic visuals, but HDR is also supported on the OLED. Number 17 brings No Man's Sky with verified status, offering an expansive galaxy exploration experience. Players can discover new planets, encounter unique wildlife, and engage in space combat. Appearing in our top 10 2 times and overall in our top 27 times. This one you best played at around 40 frames per second, especially on the LCD, but won't make a huge amount of difference even on the low settings on the OLED, pushing around 50 to 60 frames per second depending on the circumstances. Number 16 brings Slay the Spire. Combining card game strategy with roguelike elements, players can build a unique deck of cards facing different challenges and enemies in each climb of the Spire. Game emphasizes strategic decision making with a choice impacting the journey, appearing in our top 20 every month last year. Solid 60 frames per second or 90 on the OLED, this one really isn't a challenge and will keep you entertained for hours. Fallout 4 comes in at number 15, where players navigate a post-nuclear war world. As the sole survivor of Vault 111, players must rebuild and make critical choices to shape the Wasteland's future. Appearing in our top 20 every single month and making it into the top 10 4 times as well. This is fantastic on the Steam Deck, both LCD and OLED, pushing 60 or 90 frames per second on medium to high settings, and lots of mods supported for this one as well. Number 14 brings Dave the Diver, blending underwater exploration with restaurant management. Dive into the mysterious blue hole, encountering diverse marine life and hidden treasures. By day and by night, run an exotic sushi restaurant using the day's catch, making 4 top 5 appearances and 6 times in our list overall. This is a game that's a little bit more challenging than it looks on the Steam Deck overall. So you want to either cap this one at 30 or deal with the 40 to 50 frames per second up and down, though there's not a lot of settings to choose from. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt in at 13, immersing players in a rich fantasy world. As Geralt of Rivia, players embark on a quest filled with tough choices, intense combat and deep character interactions, appearing in the top 20 every single month last year and making it into the top 5 twice. With the remastered version running around 30 to 40 frames per second, even on the medium graphics with FSR, it is a bit of a challenge, but it is still beautiful looking and well worth taking a look. Hades comes in at number 12. Players take on the role of the immortal prince of the underworld, using powerful weapons and gifts from the gods of Olympus. This is a blend of fast-paced action and rich storytelling, with each escape attempt uncovering more of the story. Appearing in our top 20 every single month and making it into the top 10 5 times as well. Running at a perfect 60 frames per second on the Steam Deck, you're not going to have any problems with this one, and it looks absolutely gorgeous on the OLED as well. At number 11 we have Brotato. a quirky survival game where a potato character must fend off alien threats, juggle managing multiple weapons and strategies to survive in a very hostile environment with its blend of humour, intense action and survival mechanics. Appearing in our top 20 11 times, top 10 10 times, and even made it into the top 5 once. Running at a very solid 60 frames per second with beautiful graphics even up to 4K, you're not going to have any issues with this one, with around a 3 to 4 hour battery life. Kicking off our top 10, Baldur's Gate 3 comes in to take players on an epic fantasy journey. As characters are drawn into conflict amongst devils, deities and sinister forces, the game emphasizes deep role-playing, strategic combat and narrative choices that shape the world and the story. The game's complex mechanics and rich lore create a truly immersive experience. Although it's taken the top spot for the last 5 months running, as it was absent before, it's only coming in at number 10, but this is a little bit deceiving on the Steam Deck, as in the Act 1 and Act 2 it does perform much better than the final act, and you will be getting around 40 to 50 frames per second on the low with FSR2 quality in those acts, but in Act 3 you're going to be struggling with 30 frames per second at the best of times. At number 9 we have The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. A unique blend of action, RPG and roguelike elements, players explore randomly generated dungeons, encountering bizarre creatures and collecting power-ups that drastically alter gameplay. Appearing in our top 20 every month with 3 top 10 appearances. Absolutely solid 60 frames per second at 8 watts on the LCD and 90 frames per second at 8 watts on the OLED. You're going to be playing this one for up to 6 hours. Coming in at number 8 is The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. Officially playable but with tons of mods also available, Skyrim offers a vast open world with dragons, dungeons and endless adventures. Explore at your own pace, choose your own path and immerse yourself in a world rich with lore and fantasy. Appearing in our top 20 every single month and making it into the top 10 6 times as well. As you can see from the gameplay here, the FPS does range somewhat, but you will get a decent 50 frames per second for the most part on the LCD and OLED as well on high graphic settings, but if you drop it down to medium you'll max it out at 60 very happily. Hogwarts Legacy comes in at number 7, transporting players to the magical world of Hogwarts in the 1800s. Players can explore an open world, learn spells, brew potions and uncover hidden secrets, making it into the top 5 4 times with 7 top 10 appearances and 11 top 20 appearances overall last year. This has got better running on the Steam Deck recently, so you get a much more stable 30 to 40 frames per second with the medium graphics with FSR2 quality, but there's also now some FSR3 mods and we'll be featuring that on the channel very soon. Bursting in at number 6, Cyberpunk 2077, where you can explore Night City, a vast neon-lit metropolis. The game focuses on narrative-driven action, allowing players to customize their character and make choices that impact the story, in a rich, detailed world with complex character interactions, making a very engrossing experience. Making it into the top 20 every single month with the 11 of those in the top 10 and 4 in the top 5. Recently this has taken a little bit of a dive on the Steam Deck with the latest patch performance, meaning this is much more pushing 30 to 40 frames per second even on recommended settings, so hopefully they'll patch this a bit more in future. Kicking off the top 5 is Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the most beautiful looking games you can play on the Steam Deck in this tale of outlaws in the American heartland. Players experience an immersive story of loyalty, betrayal and survival. The game's open world is filled with wildlife, dynamic weather and realistic interactions, offering a deeply engaging Western experience. Top 20 every month last year, with all of those in the top 10. And 7 in the top 5. As you can see, it runs at a fantastic 30 to 40 frames per second with medium graphics and our recommended settings, so check out our guide on this one, but it will keep you entertained on your Steam Deck for a very long time. Coming in at number 4, only just beating Red Dead Redemption 2 is Grand Theft Auto 5, putting players in the shoes of 3 distinct characters in a sprawling urban landscape, combining storytelling, open world freedom and action-packed missions. Making it into the top 20 every single month with 12 of them in the top 10 and 5 of those in the top 5 as well. Now running at a solid 60 plus frames per second on the Steam Deck LCD, as long as you turn MSAA off at medium to high settings and pushing up to 80 on the Steam Deck OLED. Vampire Survivors breaks our top 3. With its minimalistic time survival game roguelike elements, you must fend off waves of enemies, collect upgrades and survive as long as possible. 20 minutes I think is the way to cap out on the game, but good luck with that one. The game's simple yet addictive gameplay loop offers a challenging and rewarding experience. Top 20 every single month last year, with 9 of those in the top 5, but never dropping out of the top 10. Solid 60 frames per second for the most part, but it can dip a little bit when the hordes close in, but otherwise you're not going to have any issues on Steam Deck with this one. Taking the second spot, and not a major surprise, is Stardew Valley, where players manage a farm, interact with the local community and explore the surrounding areas, combining farming simulation with RPG elements, creating a relaxing and engaging experience. Never left the top 10 all year last year, with the 11 of those being in the top 5. You can see why it's right up there. With a perfect 60 frames per second on the LCD and 90 on the OLED, at around 6 to 7 watts, you can be able to play this one all day on the deck. Taking the top spot, and no major surprise, is Elden Ring, offering an expansive fantasy world filled with daunting challenges and deep lore. Players can explore the interconnected realms, face formidable foes, and uncover the mysteries of the Elden Ring. The open world design and intricate combat provides a deeply rewarding experience. This has not been out of the top 5 all year, with 2 of them being in the number 1 spot. That's why Elden Ring was the most played game on Steam Deck of 2023. Keep your eye out for our updates every month. We'll get these from Valve, so we'll do a update video as they happen. And what was your most played game on the Steam Deck last year, if it wasn't on this list, or even on Steam? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.